Empathy is seeing in the eyes of another, hearing with the ear of another, and feeling with the heart of another. Alfred Adler. A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Empathy to me is this fundamental trait in all human beings. To me, it comes naturally. I am a very empathetic person. So growing up, I assumed everybody would be the same. But lately, when I look at the world, I see that there are so many people who lack empathy. So I want to share a story about someone in my life who preached the importance and power of empathy. Now I'm sure we all have this one teacher we remember very fondly from our school days. For me, one such teacher is Ganga ma'am. She was my class teacher during my 9th and 10th grades. Now, it's no surprise that I was a troublemaker in school, one of the last benchers, if you will. So, as you can imagine, she gave me a lot of lectures on how a high school senior should behave. I remember one incident very well. When I was in 10th grade, one of my closest friends, Karthik, had an extremely crazy idea. And when I say crazy, I'm not joking. Now, he and I stayed very close by, so we were in the same school bus. And his idea was this. He had a crush on a girl, so he wanted to ask her out in our school bus on Valentine's Day. So this meant that we would have to take the bus keys, lock them inside for a while. And he would get down on one knee, tell her how he feels, and all that romantic Shah Rukh Khan stuff. Now, this sounds great in theory, and we were really excited to do something so outrageous. Two things resulted from this, ladies and gentlemen. My friend remained single, and we hit the pinnacle of trouble because our bus driver, Mr. Muni Raju, saw this whole escapade and went and complained to the HOD. The only thing was, he changed the narrative. He said, these two boys have locked up a girl in the bus and stole the keys and ran away with it. I just want to say, wherever you are, buddy, thanks a lot for that. So as you can imagine, our HOD was extremely pissed off. She called us into her cabin and started blasting us nonstop. She kept saying, you two boys are useless. You have no common sense. How can you lock a girl inside the school bus? I will call your parents and take you to the principal. Now, we were really scared to tell her the truth because of how they might react. So we were really scared because she said she would take us to the principal as well. Our principal at that time was one Miss Hema Narayan. She was this 5'5", 5'6", very tiny female, fair complexion, always spoke with a smile on her face, fluent English accent. She seemed very friendly, but she was the exact opposite. She was extremely strict and absolutely didn't tolerate nonsense like this. It was my class teacher, Ganga ma'am, who saved us that day, ladies and gentlemen. She said to our HOD, I'll handle this situation. One of those boys is my students anyway. She knew me for 2 years. So she knew I was a rebellious kid, but she knew I wouldn't cross a line like this. And she also knew that there was something more to the story than what the driver had said. So when she sat us down, she spoke to us not with anger, but with disappointment. And when I finally revealed to her why we had done what we had done, she said, I understand you did it to help a friend, but in this situation, the ends don't justify the means. Imagine this situation. What would have happened if you had been taken to the principal? You would have gotten suspended and gotten a black mark against your name. That would mean you couldn't get into a good college, even if you wanted to. And the worst case scenario, you would have got expelled. Now, imagine your parents getting such a distressful call from the school principal in your last year of school. Imagine how they would feel. So this is one such instance I remember, ladies and gentlemen. But over the 2 years as the class teacher, she would always make sure to set aside some extra time after finishing the portions to share such stories about other students and about other incidents in her life that she approached with empathy. Empathy is defined as understanding the feelings and emotions of another person by placing yourself in their position. We all need to practice empathy in our lives, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't need to be something as complicated as I mentioned. It can be as simple as not honking at somebody on the road when they are pushing their vehicle due to a flat tire or an empty tank of petrol. Now that has happened to me multiple times, and I know how bad that feels because there's nothing I can do about it. So be a little more empathetic. Let's all put some conscious effort into being more empathetic and make this world a better place. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Lalit.
So, good morning, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. I really hope you're all feeling all right today. Remember, every cloud has a silver lining. So, first of all, I'd love to congratulate Abhinav for completing his L1P2. That's amazing, bro. So, one thing I want to stress about is his speech, empathy, which was like centered around empathy, really falls in line with the theme and the situation we're in. So I feel we should be empathetic towards ourselves and everyone around us. So the few things that I liked about your speech was, I really liked the fact that you started with a quote and you had everyone's attention immediately. And you were very expressive with your eyes. You know, you conveyed a lot of different emotions with your eyes. And it grasped each and everyone's attention, and these things are really subtle cues, and it shows that you're kind of a seasoned speaker. And I felt like I was a part of that story when you were narrating it, and your storytelling skills are really good. And in times when you had to slow down your voice, and in times when you had to stress on the word, that was very like, it didn't seem like your second speech at all. It was really good. And you had the essentials of a really good speech, which is eye contact, body language, and vocal modulation. So you had all those things in line for you. And a few suggestions from my side would be to work on your camera positioning, because I couldn't see your gestures, and it felt like you could have delivered a lot more impact if you had positioned your camera a little further away from you, or if you had stayed back a little from the camera. And you were also looking away from the camera at times, which is okay. And I think you just needed to remember a few things about your speech. That's all right. And I love the fact that you stressed on empathy, and you wanted to deliver an experience to the audience, and it was very impactful. So you have the potential to be a great storyteller and influence the audience to take up a decision in their life. So overall, an amazing speech, and all the best for your future. Thank you.
Thank you so much.